Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. In today's world, a woman can get her own food. She can buy her own home, lock her own doors. She can now be a leader of men, pursue her dreams, change the world how she sees fit. She can fight battles alongside men, be a stay-at-home mom if she wants to, or party like there's no tomorrow. And she can even have sex before marriage. Go figure. Break up with a guy who isn't treating her well and travel all around the world for as long as she feels like it, without feeling like she has to settle down or get married to be considered a real woman. The world is her oyster. Yeah. If she is like most women, she still has that innate strong desire to feel safe, to feel protected and provided for by a man. I mean, I work with some of the most strong and independent women in the world, and like 96% of them usually come back and say to me, "Can I do everything? Yeah, sure. Do I want to? No." I would love to have someone to share that with. And even though she can do it on her own, and if she's good at it, taking care of herself, why does she need to feel protected by a man? And so, why is it that smart, independent women struggle in bad relationships or fly solo for extended periods of time and complain that men never take care of them? Do you hear the conflict? So, I do work with a lot of these women that fit the profile, and they struggle, and they know exactly how to get what they want at work, but they find it frustrating that the strategies they normally use in business and in their personal life doesn't work to attract a man. In some sense, they're trying to achieve a partner rather than attract one. And the truth is that it has nothing to do with what you're achieving or accomplishing, nor is it about that you can do all these things on your own. A guy doesn't fall in love with you because of how much money you make, that you are the CEO of a company, that you've gone to Ivy League schools, that can speak 5 languages. I mean, those are all awesome and amazing. And yes, a guy will be impressed. I mean, he loves those things about you and respects those things, but he falls in love with you because of how he feels when he's with you and who you are as a person. But sometimes even knowing who you are outside of your work identity and success is the problem. I recently worked with a woman who was running her love life like a business. And I don't mean that in the sense of her, treating dating like a business. I mean, she was going after dating where she expected a return on investment. She was a financial advisor, and she would help people invest millions of dollars. And on top of it, came from a aristocratic family. So here she is, this powerful woman, and she was a widow, and she had a lot of fears of getting out there to find love again. And she had a beautiful relationship with her belated husband, but realized she did want something different this time around. And she admitted that she didn't really express herself much in the marriage and was busy taking care of the household, running the big estate of her business. And when I first met her, she would leave conversations with her accomplishments, her schooling, her big job, and what she studied. And when I asked her about what she loved about herself outside of these, accomplishments, like her personality and what she offered someone in a relationship, she couldn't say it. She just fell silent. So her whole life was based on who she was and what she did for a living. And that is how she gained love. So we really had to work on who she was, how to receive, how to own her femininity, how to emote. So, as I always do, we went shopping. We did a whole makeover session. We did some flirt sessions and consistent coaching around self love, worth outside her business, and of course, femininity. And, I put her on a dating regimen that consisted of dating sites, flirt outings, social events. And I just saw her sexy confidence completely grow. And she started leading with more fun and flirtation and charisma, which, is the key to attraction. And men were just loving it. Bam. She finally then attracted a wonderful man who she's now traveling the world with. And she, it's really interesting for her because he really loves her for her, and she feels that. and he provides and protects and cares for her. And she's embracing that. She finally realizes that being, just her is enough. So, with me on the line today is someone who is going to help me talk about this stuff and help smart, strong, successful women understand and connect with men so that they feel that innate desire to provide, protect, and care for them. We are going to have a juicy discussion. I can tell already after talking with him before we came on. His mission in life is to teach and empower people. He is certified life coach, entrepreneur, 2 times Amazon #1 best-selling author and artist who is now focusing his professional energy on teaching singles and couples how to create and maintain successful relationships. He's committed to this mission. His learning has led to certification as both a life coach and an NLP neuro linguistic programming coach. Welcome, Andre Paradis. I'm so excited that I think I said your name right.
You did. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's so good
Hi.
to meet you, have you on here.
Same here.
Yeah, gosh, I don't even know where to start with you, but let's start with you actually, because I don't know much about you, only that you're like a neighbor and who knew here in LA. How did you get into all of this? Because you have such an interesting background.
The leadership coaching.
Yeah, yeah, and doing what
God,
you're doing.
it's just a long story. I'm gonna try to make it short, but um, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I felt when I was at 5 years old, I had a moment where I could put my feelings and my thoughts together. Right before five, we don't have
Yeah.
thought process. We can explain. We just feel things. We can't think them through. Anyway, I was 5 years old when I put my feelings and my thoughts together, and I realized this was tragic. Five, that I was born in the wrong family. That these people hated me. I did not belong here. I was born in the wrong place. I was born in a snowbank. I'm a sun bunny. Like everything about my life was wrong. At five, very
Wow.
strange. I have four siblings. There's 5 kids. I mean, my family. So in a household of 7, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Like, so how? What do you do with this? Right? As a 5 year old, it was quite terrifying. And I remember thinking, I'm on my own. I'm just on my own. But what happened in that moment or the second later is I became like an observant of everyone. Like my radar kind of went outwards, outwardly to sort of understand my situation. Like, how is this possible? Are you born in the wrong family? Like,
Mm.
how's that possible? But I was that kid who was awkward, didn't fit anywhere in my house. I started going to school, same thing. But I was observing people, watching people, trying to understand something that I could put my finger on. So it became my default system. I became fascinated with the human condition. That was my whole life. I'm curious about people. The stranger the person, the more I'm right in your face. Hey, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How you get to be like this? Like, I'm that guy, always in your face.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. So that's sort of my temperament plus that push. At 5. Started taking personal development when I was 23 years old. So trying to fix myself, figure out what's wrong with me, like just trying to unpeel the onion on all that crap because I had a lot of baggage with lack of worthiness. If you don't belong here, like why are you here? And
Yeah.
what you know what I mean? Like it was kind of a terrible situation, but um, I became a professional dancer. It's a long story, but as a teenager, I went to a private high school, and at 16 years old, I ended up being pulled in a ballroom class for PE because we had that opportunity.
Uh-huh.
I had to sign up as a couple with a girl, and she this girl who I didn't know she knew I existed, asked me to join with her. Cute little thing, yeah. So my very first class, I'm 16 years old, and I remember like with the girl in my arms, looking at the teacher, and whatever he did, I could instantly just copy. It was just there, like instantly, which was kind of wild because a dork didn't fit anywhere, and all of a sudden I have
Mm.
this ability, like I have this gift that I didn't know I had. So I go from geek to star in about 4 months because I'm the guy who could dance better than the other guys instantly. I would dance with the rest of the girls because the guys couldn't really catch up. I became the teacher's assistant. Anyway, next thing you know, that's all I want to do. A sad kid turns into a kid who's now sort of belongs somewhere.
Yeah.
And you understand this as a woman that music and motion, right? The
Oh, yeah.
music and the body motion, like the when these two connect together, the vibration that creates the energy that creates in a my it just made me smile. It made me joyful. It just made me want to live, which I had never really felt before. Like I just was a sad little kid, who didn't belong anywhere. So that became when I I decided right then and then that that's all I wanted to do. So I took it all the way. I went from ballroom dancing to jazz dancing, moved to the West Coast, got scholarship after scholarship after scholarship, made my way to Los
Wow.
Angeles. My life is a book. I'm in Los Angeles on a vacation with my girlfriend, and 2 days after we get in town, I get hired by Chippendales to go on the road with them and tour.
Wait, you were at Chippendale?
I
Who
was
knew?
my first professional job. And it's funny because I remember I got picked up literally. It's a Hollywood story. I'm at a party. We got in town Thursday night. Saturday night is a party at the studio we're working at because I was actually helping a friend with this demo reel dancing. I was dance captain. And I'm at a party with my girlfriend, which is like, hey, we're in LA, just with all the people that I want to be part of, right? These are the people who do what I want to do for a living, right? And and this old guy in the corner keeps staring at me, and it's staring at me and it's staring at me. Everybody's 25 years old. It's this old guy just freaking stared at me. And every time I turn around, he's still there. I'm like, oh, we're in LA. I forgot. Okay, we're in LA. Fine, fine. Okay, so I turn my back on him, because it's embarrassing. Dancing with my girl. Anyway, so, and then the guy who asked me to come down to help him, my buddy, next you know, they're talking together and looking at me. And I'm like, what's he doing? And I could tell they're talking about me. I could tell, right, energetically. I'm like, he was gay. I'm straight, and then he knows whatever. So next, he waves me over. I'm like, what in the hell? Anyway, so I give the guy attitude because he's trying to introduce me to this whole guy, which I think he's trying to pick me up, which is awkward. And he's like, dude, he's trying to give you a job, you idiot. How about you say hi to Steve? Anyway, so Steve Merritt, who choreographed Chippendales, the two touring companies,
Wow.
there was four versions. There was two touring companies and two nightclubs, one in New York and Los Angeles. And Steve says to me straight up, like in the movie at a party, like my own Hollywood story. He goes, I've lost one of my dancers 4 months ago. We've had auditions. I can't find anyone to replace him. You're exactly what I'm looking for. How about it? Right? Huh. Anyway, so it turns out that, you know, I was offended because, like, like girl dancers, like male dancers tend to be a little snooty sometimes, like actors and actresses. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like if you
mhm.
try to get, when girls are dancers and they say they're dancers, people say like, so what do you strip at? Right. And they get so insulted. Right. So kind of the same idea. So when he tells me Chippendales is a show, I remember thinking, I'm not a
I am a dancer.
stripper.
I'm not a
I
Chippendale.
I'm a
Yeah.
commercial trained,
Right.
jazz dancer. And he goes,
Yeah.
okay, well, how much money do you make being a commercial trained jazz dancer? I'm like, well, yeah. Anyway, so my girlfriend says, take the job. And I took the job and I was on the road for a year and a half. And it was the beginning of my professional career.
Wow.
Came
I
back to,
wish you were wearing the costume right now. Like that would have been a whole different
I mean, you can
podcast,
see it,
by
right? You
the
can still
way. I
see it.
mean, I
There's some
could
left
see the
over. There's some
hair,
left
right?
over. Yeah, you see the abs. It's all there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's sort of a really good step into like professional career. It was fun. It was fantastic. And then,
Mm.
but within a year and a half, it was actually stupid because trained dancers have to keep training like anybody, to keep up your talent abilities. And that was not going to be a stripper the rest of my life. This was a job to get me. So and within a year and a half, I quit, come back to Los Angeles, got an agent. And, next, worked with Michael Jackson, worked with Prince, worked with Paul Abdul. I was with Paul for 2 years. So I made it. I made an incredible living of this.
Wow.
And I met my wife in that period. My wife's a professional prima ballerina. So she ended up taking when you in the business of dancing, just like actors, you perform, you teach, you travel. You perform, you teach, you travel. So you come back in town and you teach, and then you go on a job, right? So I was teaching, and my wife walked into my class, and there it was. Put a fork in me.
Bam.
This is my baby. So we did this for years, and then at one point, I traveled. I had the life for 15 years, and at one point we wanted to start a family. So I was not going to be the absentee dad. You know what I mean? I was going to be in Europe when my kids are little babies. So I changed my life completely. I was done. It sounds glamorous, right? The road traveling. But after 15 years, it's not glamorous. It's just another hotel, another
Mm.
plane. and the crabby stewardess. Like, right? Like,
Right.
enough already, right? Enough already. So I ended up, I settled in Los Angeles. I opened a car business in Los Angeles. I bought a house in Los Angeles. I was 6 minutes from the house, was 6 minutes from my business, and the house was 2 blocks from the kids' school. So both my wife and I were at every meet, every recital, every parade, every Halloween parade, every Christmas parade. Like both of us, 10 o'clock in the morning, we're front center, present for my kids because I didn't have that, right? So that's the way I set up my life. And I would keep dancing in town. I refused to go out of town. I was grounded. I had a business to keep me grounded. I didn't have to take the work that I did want to take. So that was sort of phase two of my life, I call it. The car business that I did for 20 plus years, fantastic. It exploded really quickly, but it was amazing I used to travel the world to get paid. And now I would actually sit somewhere in Los Angeles and people would come to me. Oh,
Yeah.
what a
Funny
shift.
concept, right?
How fun.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I was always a guy still in personal development. Always took workshops,
Mhm.
business workshop, money workshops, get ahead workshop, get your shit together, whatever,
Yeah.
all this stuff. I've never ever stopped. I'm always again curious, curious, curious. In 2006, I'm in San Jose, California, Northern California, on a business workshop, trying to take my business to the next level. I meet a couple. It's the 3-day weekend. On the flight back to Los Angeles, we're sitting in the same row, which I thought was cute. I thought it was random. Life is not very random at all. I mean, I used to believe that then, not anymore, right? It's like coincidences are too, whatever. She says to me, the lady says to me, she goes, "What are you doing this weekend?" Like next weekend, because we're coming back from this weekend. And I go, "Oh, I'm off next weekend." She goes, "You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." Right? And she invites me to a workshop. And of course, I say yes, because those could be expensive and,
Right.
blah, blah. So, and then I go, after I agreed, I go, what is it? And she's like, "Oh, it's called Understanding Women." Okay. Now you have to understand my arrogance in that at that point was like because I'm artistic. That's the only way I could explain it. That I've always attracted soft, sweet women.
Hmm.
I never did the crazy stuff my friends did. I never did the yelling and that. Ah, yeah,
Mm.
ever. When you
Mm.
meet my wife, you go, "Oh," right? And that's always the
Yeah.
type that I attracted. So, what are you going to teach me about? Like, and I'm thinking now I'm going to spend my weekend in the workshop over understanding women. Okay. Like, so I'm kind of backed into it. I said I was going to go, so I went, and I remember walking in the space on Saturday morning, airport hotel, 400 people in the space, 400 people. And instantly I went, "Uh-oh, this isn't going to be cute."
Mm.
And sure enough, Allison Armstrong has her own company that teaches men, understanding men, celebrating women back then, starts speaking. And by the end of the workshop, my brain's all over the wall, all over the wall.
Yeah.
Like, and I realized I knew nothing about women, like absolutely zero, not even a little bit, like zero. And what was dangerous to me about this is we had two little kids at the time. I think my son's like 3 or 4 years old. My daughter's 2 years younger. Right. My wife and I are fine. I'm not looking for this stuff. I just tripped on it. But what I realized is I knew nothing about women, which means I knew nothing about my wife. And I realized this is
Mm.
really freaking dangerous if I don't know what I'm doing to her because I don't know. Right. You know
Wow.
what I mean? So it literally,
Yeah.
she says, when I came home, I was white. I was so I was so upset about the things that I realized that I didn't know, which is dangerous. Now, understand all my siblings, my other four siblings, all married and divorced 2, 3, 4 times. I have my angel, my baby girl. We have two little kids. I'm not going to mess this up because I don't know, right? So
Yeah.
my curious brain went into I need to know all this. So that's how it started. I ended up taking all the company's curriculum, every workshop they had available. I'm all over it. I started volunteering for every workshops outside of this to soak the material. I'm a teacher at heart, so within a year, I'm teaching for them, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the easy extension. And that was started. From there, I didn't continue with these guys, but I ended up studying with Dr. John Gray, Esther
Right.
Perel, Shanti Felhan, all famous people, Dr. Pat Allen here in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, freaking, and so I have a cocktail of information knowledge that sort of gets me to this point where I think the cocktail of information that I have, because I could explain to you the psychology of relationship, the chemistry of relationships,
Mhm.
the anthropological, part of a relationship, like whichever angle. You want to, it all connects together, by the way, in the back. So
Yeah.
the cocktail that I have, I think is untouchable without any arrogance, and the thing, next thing you know, at my car business, I'm coaching people. People would
Yeah. Oh
open
my
up
God.
to me. So that's how all this started. Sorry, it's a long, long story.
No, I'm so glad you kind of went through your different phases, right? Because I mean, I think we all go through our journey and it shapes us in different ways and it leads us down different roads. And I agree with you. Nothing is just
Right.
happenstance, right? If you look for it, like there are things that might be in your face, but then you don't act on it. And you really did act on the things that just kind of came to you in those moments in time. It's so interesting how I loved the beginning part, where, going from this kind of strange kid who didn't really have much purpose or passion to someone who just rose above it all,
Mm.
like rising from the ashes like Phoenix. And you just and the whole metaphor around, I think, dance is such a beautiful one with the topic that we're talking about. Like how, at what point do you lead and at what point do you allow yourself to be led, And I was curious, like through the journey of dance and all of that, like, do you feel like that also helped you in ways of like just navigating your body, your energy with women just in general?
Well, yeah, I had to lead.
Yeah.
I had to lead, and if I realized very quickly, this is just every dancers, ballroom dancers know this, that if my leadership is soft a little bit, if I'm not sure what I'm doing, you know what I mean, because I'm in charge the whole time. She's vulnerable to my leadership. That's the only way for her to be feminine, let go, and actually shine, right? So she has to
Yes.
let me do it. She has to trust me to lead her. There's a lot of confidence building in that. There's a lot of vulnerability for her. But as I'm planning every step, a couple of seconds ahead, right? I'm constantly on. Excuse me. Um, if I question myself, if I for 1 second I'm not sure what I'm doing, that split second even of wait, what?
Mhm.
She instantly stiffens up.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what women
Yeah.
do in a relationship. If the guy doesn't have it, guess what? Oh, she's got to take it, right? And then instant anxiety, instant stress, a little adrenaline in the system, right? And people don't understand how in tune we are with that energy, right? Men and
Yes.
women do not bring the same energy forward. There's two different types of power: magnetic, positive, negative, like a battery. Do you know what I mean? Yin yang, masculine, feminine. These are opposite on purpose, and they create the polarity of everything that's natural in life. Everything in nature is polarized.
Yes.
So we don't really understand even the fine tuning of this. So that's why the idea of equality in my world is stupid, because it works for business and money, but in relationships, it's the kiss of death. And we talk about this later. But anyway, the energy was essential. So the moment I doubt my leadership for myself, she stiffens up. When she stiffens up, often then her reflex, this is in everything, relationship, but dance, her reflex will be to help me or to grab control for a second,
Yep.
right? Like, because she feels literally a little bit scared instantly. Like, oh, right. And when that happens, this is when I get the elbow to the face or the knee to the groin, because my lack of leadership has her gonna step in, and now we're for a split second lose control and then collide. You know what I mean? And that's how I get hurt.
Oh my God, this is such a like metaphor to what we're talking about too. Like what you just described is exactly what goes on in dating and, relationships and that energy that both bring to the table because, a lot of times each gender think it's the other gender's job, right? Like I hear powerful women say, "Well, where are all the alpha men?" They don't come to me and nobody. But
Because
then
you are, because you are.
right, and I said, "But what are you doing to send off the signals that, hey, I'm open, I'm ready for business," because both parties have responsibilities of approachability and to your point, when one stiffens up, the other reacts. And here's the thing with like I feel like high achievers and what we're talking about, it all boils down to the confidence thing, like it was so beautiful how you came into your confidence
Mm.
with the dance. And as you grew in the confidence, you started attracting, the alike. And so that's super important for a man to feel that alpha confidence so that he can lead. And then at the same time, what happens with powerful women is if the man doesn't like own that strength, she gets scared, like you said,
Yep.
just like in the dance,
Yep.
and she'll go into her confidence. And guess what confidence is for her? Leading, because she knows she's good at that. But it's an overcompensation of what she doesn't really want. Like she wants the
Right.
guy to lead.
And
So I just love this
and
conversation.
it's masculine, right? You put women
Yeah.
in the leadership. You could lead as a woman. That's fantastic. But with money, with work, with career, it's okay. But in relationships, if you want a man to be a man, to sort of put his arms around your life and provide and protect, you have to let me the man. So if you're the bigger man, you attract in my world what I call boys, right? In my world, there's three
Yeah.
types of man. There's three types of in my peeling the onion on this and research and the stuff that I've done for years. I've come up with there's three types of men. They all look like men. They're three completely different characters. They function differently. They act differently. They speak differently. They're very easy to spot from my perspective. But that's one of the first things I teach my ladies. If you're a masculine woman, again, everything I'm teaching is nature and science, not
Yeah.
my opinion. Understand? So if you understand that everything is polarized in life, everything in nature is polarized, yin yang, black white, masculine, feminine, positive, negative magnets, right? Everything that works, everything that flourishes, everything that grows, everything that um, grows and survives is polarized. Nowhere in nature is the masculine act like the feminine.
Yes.
We're opposites in every way, made to fit. We're complementary. Now we think we're better than that. Go girl, badass, don't need no man. Okay, well, this is how you end up collecting boys, because boys who don't are men who don't have a masculine side, it's just typically trauma related. Like women who are overly masculine is typically trauma related in childhood. We know this. So if you're masculine, you attract feminine. Whatever's between your legs. So masculine when strong, independent, and they're so proud of that. It's great. Have terrible times in relationship because they attract boys. And boys want you, ladies, to mother them. They want you to work. They want you to go 50-50. They don't want to pay for you. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to protect you. They want you to make them comfortable. They want you to do the work. They go, girl, get that other to the job. Yeah. They want you to be strong, independent, powerful. They love 50-50. They love feminism because as they encourage you to go and kill it out there, he's on the couch, spooning the dog, smoking a joint, writing his music, you know, playing video games like a child. And we know the disaster there, right? Because soon enough, like you become his mother, is really the energies
Mhm.
happen. So these boys want to be mother, they want to be comfortable, which is what men actually want to do for women, by the way, but in the right, diatron. Um, so this is always, you probably know this, but this is always the same story. Women who will be in that space of, strong, independent, and powerful, and then take care of their man, and sort of, like it's a Peter Pan syndrome, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Wendy trying to take care of Peter Pan. He won't grow up, and she's his mama,
Uh-huh.
right? She doesn't want to be in pain. She just wants him to be comfortable. She wants to help him. She wants to help him. He'll take the help, but never really do anything with it, right? He's not going to grow up. He's not going to get a job. He's not going to become a doctor. He'll talk about it, and she'll just keep. Anyways, it's the
So wait,
worst
that's the
thing.
first type is like the Peter Pan guy or the
Yeah, the
being
boys,
mothered?
the
Okay,
boys,
the
the
boys.
boys, the
Okay,
boy.
got
If you're masculine woman, you'll
it.
attract
Right.
boys, or if you're feminine man. And within a few, like the danger about boys is they're very, because they're feminine. They know how to seduce. They know how to be slick. They know
Mm.
how to say all the right things. They'll have you out of your
Mhm.
pants in no time, right? They talk, 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 talk. They'll tell you everything you want to hear. All your teenage fantasies will come out. You'll, all of them, like
Right.
they're very
John
dangerous.
Cassidy's on the wall. Yeah, no, I
Straight up, right? They're
right.
very dangerous that way
Yeah.
because they're all self-serving. Their job is to seduce you to get what they want out of you. So women
Mm.
go, they're like in a month, he's got you wrapped up, right? Now you're starting to lend him money that he promised to pay back that he never does. He's driving your car because he can't fix his piece of crap, right? He moves into your house because his landlord's a douche,
Right.
right? Seriously. Like, and
Yeah.
then you walk in his dog because he won't do it, and you become his mom. And this is a terrible, terrible thing. It happens after within the first couple of months, you think, oh my God, I knew one of them existed. So sweet, so sensitive. So they're apparently really good in bed too. So another way to seduce a
To hook.
masculine
Yep.
woman,
It's a
the
hook.
hook, a masculine women,
Mhm.
whatever. And then 6 months down the road, you wonder what the hell happened to your life.
Yes.
right? Because now you're his mama, you're paying for everything. He doesn't do anything. You don't feel safe, but he's cute and he's good in bed, right? And if you get stuck there, my point is this is what all my clients encounter. I go, honey, you're so masculine, you have no choice. Nature will give you the opposite polarity that you are. So if you want a masculine man, we need to bring your feminine back.
Feminine back up. Yep.
And
Yep.
it's
Love it.
important to say, like women think so, like you overcalibrate, like your masculine is up to
Yes.
here and your feminine has been neglected. That's on the ground. Again, typically trauma in childhood.
Yeah.
First thing we have to fix, which is what I do. But women are like, so I love that and I hate that at the same time. How many times did I hear this? They're like, oh, so you want us to dumb it down and shake our asses like Marilyn Monroe? I'm
Oh,
like,
I know. I get that all
is
the
is
time.
that what I
Ladies,
said?
listen to this. This is
Is
not about dumbing down. And
is
I
that
deal with this too.
at all? So if
No.
you're overcalibrated, you're just
Yeah.
overcalibrated, which means you're invisible to men.
Yeah.
You're only attractive to the boys. Problem number
Right.
one: if you find yourself in a loop with all these losers, it's you. It's your energy. It's the energy you put out will attract what it attract. Nature. So I'm not talking about destroying this that you've built, your amazing talent, your amazing. Well, it's not about changing that. It's about adjusting this one.
Right.
It's
Right. And
about
then there's the balance.
cultivating
Yes.
this one. Typically, when you cultivate this side, you're like, you know what? I don't need to work so hard. I think
Yes.
and then to me, in my world, a true badass is a woman who knows how to be masculine where she needs to, and
Hmm.
and then knows how to be feminine where appropriate.
Yeah.
So the way I say it's a little crass. Are you ready? I go, ladies, you can be badass all at work, make some money, go girl, right? Don't right. And I said, but when you're done with this, leave your balls at work. Leave your
Oh
balls
my
at
God.
work
Yes.
because you cannot put your balls in a man's face and think that's
Right.
attractive, but they all do it. I'm a CEO. I did this. I'm taking over. You know what I mean? So masculine women make the mistake of thinking their power, their doing, their money, their career is interesting to men. It is not at all. At
Yeah.
all. We don't give a crap about your money.
So, ladies, this is really important. We'll get into this in a second because I want to
Ooh,
hear the other two
yeah.
types
Guys
of
and men.
boys
Yeah,
and or men. But what where a lot of women get stuck, and it sounds like we both deal with this, is that it's like, okay, like they'll hear this in theory, like what you're
yeah.
saying, but then they're like, but how?
Thank
Like
you.
because they think that they are. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
like we gotta like maybe give them a little more juiciness around that. But let's go
Yeah.
through the other two and then we'll kind of circle back to
So
it.
those are boys. The boys
Yeah.
in my world are not rehabilitatable. Is that the word? Say it
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Like you can't rehabilitate them. They're just because they see nothing wrong with their ways. Their job is to take advantage of everything. Everyone, the narcissists, right? And women are here to serve them.
Yep.
They typically have no father role models. They don't know how to be men, and they've been overcuddled by their mothers. And okay, by the age of 13, they decide they come to realize that women are here to serve them. So they don't change. This is why these guys you have to avoid at all costs. They will
Yeah.
ruin your life. They will take over. They will steal from you. They will take advantage of your body, your energy, your money, like everything. They'll take everything
Mm.
from you. That's their job. So that's why I say, ladies, you really got to tune up about understanding this dynamic so you never get taken again because those are the toxic ones.
Yeah.
It's the masculine men aren't toxic. Masculine men will protect you from these guys. Masculinity is not toxic. Masculinity is providing, protecting, cherishing women, children, everything that's weaker instinctively. So men will protect you from these douchebags, right? So it's not men that are toxic, it's the soft feminine ones who are manipulative, they cheat, they lie, they con, right? Everybody in jail is a girl with a penis. They're not men. They don't know how to be men. They use
Wait, but
scary.
this is still all the same first guy, right?
That's all the same
Okay.
process.
So
Yeah, I'm
what's
saying.
number two?
Okay, so number two, I call them guys. So there's boys,
Guys.
guys, and men.
Okay.
So guys are you see them everywhere nowadays. They're masculine enough to have a job. They
Yeah.
have, but it's a small job typically, or some kind of it's not a CEO production company, right? It's not
Yeah.
a they're typical guys, right? They have jobs, they have little shitty cars, they have three roommates, so they're manly enough to manage their lives, right? But they've been shamed out of being masculine, especially with women. So they do this with women. They will raise that they were raised that masculinity is toxic, to not lean on a woman, to not assert yourself on a woman, to not make plans because that's toxic. So what do? They go, so where do you want to go for dinner? So like, what kind of movie you want to see?
Oh, right.
Do I see you this weekend? You want to hang out? Yeah,
Indecisive.
right. There they can't. They don't. They've been
Yeah.
shamed out of being masculine in that
Right.
way to make plans. And women, they think they're being polite. Again, typically raised by women and or the culture or the schooling or whatever. Just everywhere nowadays, and they don't understand. They're trying to be polite. They don't understand that makes women crazy. Women, man, if you're listening, the women hate that shit. They
They
hate
they
that
hate
shit.
it. They
They
hate
hate
it.
it.
And
They
then
think
it
they're being
forces the
polite.
woman to be in her masculine because now
Of
she's
course.
planning,
Of
right?
course, because you're putting her in the masculine,
Yes.
and now she's like, if the movie sucks, she'll take that personally, even though she has nothing to do with the movie, because
Yeah,
she picked the wrong movie.
that's
And
right.
if
And
you
that'll be
talk
her
shit about
fault.
it, she'll think that, right? To him, you say that was a sucky movie, and she'll actually get upset with you because she picked the wrong movie. Like none of that works, man, ladies. None of that works. So those are guys. They're everywhere.
Nice.
The good news is, as a woman, if you get who he is. If you understand that, okay, he's got his stuff together enough to manage his life. He's not living, mother's basement playing video games at 30, right? That's not a boy. That's a guy. He's managing his life, but it's not big. If you encourage him, if you teach him that you're one who wants him to lead, they step right up. Typically, really quickly. So
Oh,
there's a lot of good about those guys. They just
okay.
typically have been shamed out of it.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
as an aware woman, if you train by me, you'll spot them in a second, and you can encourage them to step up, and they realize, wait, this is a woman who wants me to be the man. This is a woman who likes men to be men, right? Open doors and pull chairs and all that stuff, right? Like
Yeah, she's just got to train
you
him.
got to just give them permission. It's actually they need
Yeah.
permission because they've been shamed out of it. So those guys step up because they have it inside of them and they can be expanded. The third one are men.
Dun dun
And da
dun.
da
And,
da.
ugh.
And men are just men. Men,
Yeah.
ladies, this. When you meet a real man, right? It's a little scary. You get a little like whoa, like they're so big energetically. They're so testosterone. I mean, they're loud. They stand there. They don't care. You know what I mean? They own the space they're standing in and everything around it. You know what I mean? You can't mess with them. They'll run you right over, right? They laugh in your face. You can't disrespect them. You'll get handled on the spot, right? They're like so in the presence of a masculine man, even a masculine woman goes, "Ooh,"
Yeah.
right? It melts you. Is that energy is over the top. That energy is bigger than anything you can. It's palatable. Now these guys are my favorite because these are the men who are men. They know who they are. They're solid. They spend a lifetime building the character, right? They have missions in life. They know why they're here. They know where they're going. They want to leave a legacy. They want to conquer everything. Look at it, right? And these are the guys who want wives, who want families, who want to build a castle, a life, a kingdom around themselves and put their arms around everything they love, everything and everyone they love. Those are men. Now, because they're so masculine, again, they tend to be a little scary, a little bit. And I say this to women, right? You want to find a man, pick one that scares you a little bit energetically, because that's a man, right? Not a sweet one, not a sweet one. The sweet one would make you work. Anyway, and what happened is the only thing you have to learn to do with masculine man is you have to. I actually teach Menglish is how to negotiate with those guys respectfully to adjust when they're too big because they'll be too big, they'll be too
Mhm.
loud, they'll be too controlling, they'll run you over. They'll run you completely over. You want to explain why you don't want to go to the blah blah, and he goes, you don't want to go. I don't care. No, but let me explain. I don't want you. I don't care. You don't want to go. Like they'll just run you over because they're no nonsense. They don't need the details. You know what I mean? It's working. It's not working. So how do you negotiate respectfully when he goes too far? Because they always go too far. It's called testosterone in the body, in the blood, right? So how do you negotiate that is what I teach women with these guys because those are the guys who do everything that you want: provide, protect, cherish, give, men, women, children. Like these are the good guys. They're big. Well, nature. So, okay, this will be the feminine to kind of tone them down.
Okay, I have a question
Ooh,
though, because
please.
I can know this is good stuff, okay? But
Thank you.
I'm interested in this last category and how it
Yeah,
compares to the first one. And I'll because I can hear and I can just see the wheels turning in women's heads
yeah.
being like, but he sounds like an asshole. He sounds like narcissistic, like that last
No.
one. So how do you distinguish the man from the boy, because you're actually labeling the boys as narcissists? And
Yep.
I think this is a really big distinction.
Yep.
And why? Because I deal with narcissists a lot with women,
Yep.
why women get hooked into the narcissist because they seem like they're men. It's actually in disguise, but when you take off the costume and you look inside,
Yep.
they're just boys. And
Yep.
because I agree with you, but I think we need to like flush that out a little because I
Well,
could see the confusion with some women.
yeah, yeah. No, it's rather simple, right? It's like, people will reveal themselves if you just give them a chance to
Yeah.
reveal themselves.
Right, right,
So I
right.
have clients after clients, they meet the guy, three times for dinner, they have chemistry, and she's like already picking out her wedding gown. I was like, you don't even know his last name. You haven't met his family. You don't know his
Right,
friends. You don't know who he is. You know what's wrong with him because everybody's got something wrong with him. You know what I mean? What makes the wheels come off on him?
right.
Well, what made the wheels come off on you, by the way, honestly? This is
Yeah,
the thing that we
yeah.
want to share as soon as possible. We all pretend, we put the face, we say all the right things. No, no. So you got to just wait. Like, so in my world, again, the research, the study, the work that I've done with all these masters, we know that it takes 12 months to get to know the person in front of you. 12 months.
Totally
There's
agree.
four
Yeah.
stages of development of a relationship. The first 3 months is the perfect phase where everybody behaves, nobody does anything wrong, and
It's courtship. It's
nothing bothers
honeymoon.
anybody, right? Nothing bothers anybody. It's the
Yeah.
first 3 months, right? So 3 months is 3 months, not 3 weeks, not sleeping with him on the fourth date. You don't know him. And there's a whole science about beyond that as well that women don't know that destroys men's attraction to when you, anyway, we'll talk about this maybe. It's a whole new podcast
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, you're gonna have to come back because there's so many like
Yeah,
subtopics that are coming
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. So what was I saying? I just lost. I said went into
We're
about
talking about like the phases and
right. So the first 3 months is the perfect phase. The second 3 months we call the imperfect phase. It's when people start getting real, right? Like the personality shows up. Like you stop being so perfect. Right? I had a client who said she's like, um, this is new. He started burping the alphabet and he thinks it's really funny. Like that is new.
Hey,
And
that's new.
and on the other
Note to
side, the guy
self.
said to me, I swear to God, this is correct. He goes, dude, she takes a dump with the door open now. Like he was horrified, right? Like like
Right,
this
right.
is new, right? This is
Yeah.
the imperfect phase. You get to find out how people tick and the little quirks and the stuff that was never present the first time. Right? 6 months. We're now 6 months in, and you're only halfway through knowing the person. 9 months between 6 and 9 months is called the negotiating phase. You start talking about, I don't like when you do this, this I like. If you do this, I'll do this. You know what I mean? You start negotiating softly the stuff that works for you. It's normal. That happens in that 3 to 9 months. Get this. It takes 9 months. This is if you date somebody, you see them once or twice a week. If you see more
I
than
was gonna
that,
say that matters though.
there's a
Yeah,
phase, right? But
yeah.
it's pretty still standard. The stage of developments of relationships are very, very predictable. You might just step them up a little faster if you see each other 4 times a week, but that's unusual. People work,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? People like don't live
Especially
necessarily next,
now.
right? People don't live close to each other. So standard once to twice a week, right? It'll take 3 months, 3 months. But so 6 to 9 months is when you start negotiating the small stuff. It takes 9 months. Are you ready? This is why you don't move fast. There's no need to rush this. You don't know each other. It takes 9 months to find out if you have a deal breaker with them or them with you. It takes not a psychopath can hold up the lies for 9 months, and then it comes undone.
Hmm.
So you have to wait till 9 months to actually know if there's something really wrong with that person. The guy likes to party, takes 9 months to find out he's a drunk. He'll hide it forever.
And so
Nine
how
months.
yeah, no, it's so important. How does this relate then to like the narcissist versus the man, like the boy versus
Because you will discover that in that curve, right? You
Ah,
don't jump into bed the first
yeah,
after 4 weeks. You don't know who he is. You get hooked on him.
right.
You know, the problem with early sex is that it gives you the feeling of compatibility that's fake. It's a chemistry compatibility. It's not a lifestyle personality compatibility. So a lot of women make the mistake of jumping in too fast. Men too, but men sort of that's their drive. So you get all tangled up, you fall in love, you're having sex, you bonded, all the chemistry happens, and then 9 months later, you find out he's a drunk. Now you have to break up with him. Your heart is broken. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's
you
so
so
true.
we play this game of beating ourselves up, going too
Right.
fast. My point is, you wait. Narcissists are very easy to spot after a little while because it's all about them. Narcissists, when I teach you to Manglish, how to negotiate, with a man, it works. It's something you apply to everybody and to women as well, by the way. But it's a system of really approaching men respectfully so they respond and adjust. If you do that, if you if you use that language on a narcissist, he turns it on you.
Oh,
And that's how
yes.
you know, like this, like this. You do it
Yes.
one time, and he goes, "Whoa, you're the one with the problem. You're too sensitive. I can't, like I don't have to change anything." Yeah, they'll turn it on you. That's
Yeah.
a narcissist. They now sit loud and clear, and it doesn't take 6 months. It takes 3 dates,
That
four
no,
days.
this is so, so good. And, one of the things too that I think would really help women and distinguish those two is that I think the hook for women where they think that boy is strong, like a
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it's vibrato. I call it vibrato, where they're
Absolutely.
acting as if. However, there's no sense of care or empathy or real desire to please you.
Hmm.
And I think is the big distinction because the man, while it may feel like, oh, well, like he doesn't really care because he just goes around, but he actually does. He just does. He's not dependent on your opinion to feel good about himself.
Right.
Right. And I think that's the really big distinction. So I think it's so hard sometimes for women to
It's
understand that.
you
But
know
to your point, it takes time.
It takes time, and I break it all up. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
said, in my world, my first thing I do with my client after we do like clean up their baggage. So
Yeah.
I can't get anybody a healthy relationship when you show up with all your baggage, all of us. So
Right.
first thing I do is clean the baggage, so they actually off your baggage, like they're actually at choice instead of your subconscious running the show. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'll never, you know what I mean? Whatever things you picked up in childhood, we all have it. So baggage first, and then we go right into how to build a relationship, a healthy long-term relationship. And I first thing I teach is boys, guys, and men, and I send them out there in the world to spot them. And they 3 weeks, three
Yeah.
weeks,
Love
three
it.
weeks, not 3 months, 3 weeks. Right. And all of a sudden, like you don't date like, oh my God, I hope he's a good guy. I hope he likes me. I hope he wants to commit. I hope he wants to get married. I hope he wants kids. Hell that. Right? When you date, understanding how to date and understanding that what's in front of you just by listening, ladies, is so easy. Like one date, typically, maybe two or three, depending of how much he likes to talk. But instead of dating like this, check it out. You make yourself feel good, not perfect, too much stress, right? Ladies try too hard thinking maybe he's the one. Forget all that shit. Excuse me, but forget all that
Ah,
shit.
I'm
All
with
right.
you.
Make yourself feel good. Get this. And instead of showing up like this, I hope this may be the one. Show up like this.
Mhm.
Let's just see who you are. Let's just see who he shows up as. Let's just see and listen to what he's saying. Listen to his words, right? Again, the three types speak differently. A boy will peacock, talk about himself the whole time. A man will ask you questions because he's interested in finding out who you are. A guy is somewhere in the middle. You have to help him. But again, I give you all these tools. It's essential. And imagine being able to date, knowing what you're doing, knowing what to avoid, knowing that you can't get conned, taken, manipulated. You know,
Yep.
like it's liberation. And then all of a sudden, my women, every one of them, because most of them come from trauma, which means they never met a man. They've never met the man I'm talking about. They met boys. They meet boys and they think that's men. And I'm like, honey, no, those are boys. They make a third of the population. You managed to only attract those guys. Not your fault. Your past. Anyway, So when they kind of peel the onion and sort of go, oh, like after 3 weeks, they can spot a guy on a text, a boy on a text.
Yeah.
That's some
That's
shit, right? Like
awesome.
that's
That's
like not
awesome.
3 months again, right? So
Yeah.
all of a sudden they feel safe in the world, which is the ultimate, safety for a woman to feel safe is the ultimate, gift, not to be, at risk, not to be manipulated, handled, taken advantage of. All anyway, so not dating like this, and
Yeah.
he'll reveal himself by the questions he's asking. You get to do very little, but respond to what he's up to. Right, a boy will show off in Peacock, ask nothing about you, and if he asks things about you, you can tell he doesn't really care. Right,
Right.
he's just being
Right.
polite. You'll pick all that up, right? You
Yeah.
tune in, but the freedom on the other side. So my clients will then eventually go some within a few weeks. They're going to go, oh, I think I met a man, and I go, tell me more. Well, I kind of got nervous when I got near him first, and I go,
Yeah,
uh huh, uh huh.
yeah.
What else? Well, she goes, he looked right in my face, and he says, I've never seen you here before. Is this where you hang out? Well, no, my girlfriend's over here. There's something about you. I'd like to get to know you better. Get your phone number. And she freaking falls in a puddle after he leaves.
Right.
You're going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh
It's
my
a
god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You know what I mean? I think I
man.
just met one because men know who they are, they know what they want, right?
Yeah.
And they go after it.
Right.
Boys
Right.
don't, guys don't.
Andre, this was so great.
Uh,
Obviously we could
I
do this for another hour. It's crazy. And I was like, look at that. Oh my God,
I
we have to
know.
end at some point. Um, so, and I know we had promised to kind of give the how to, but I feel like that's a whole other episode. And
That's
in fact,
this,
you
yeah,
gave some gold nuggets. And I think, I'll just kind of recap and saying that it's the phrasing sometimes that you use, ladies. It's also your body language and how you show up and what you're indicating,
your
your
energy.
energy, the charisma, and how you are leaning back. And how you described, just show up and be like, I
Yeah,
describe it as queen bee. And I, in fact, tell women to envision them on their throne
straight
and
up.
just kind of like say, "Oh, who are you?"
That's
kind of
it.
thing. And it's that leaning back is the receiving part, and
Yep,
there is an energy to that. So, Andre,
yep.
this was awesome. Tell everybody how they can find you, and yeah,
Okay.
this was awesome.
Also, I have a gift for you listeners if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, some people call crap on everything I say. Okay, whatever. And some people totally get it and sort of resonate. I think because I speak nature, it resonates. Even if for the hardcore feminists, sometimes they go, "Oh, never thought of it that way." I'm like, "Good, right?"
Things
So
that
if
make you
any,
go, hmm.
yeah, if anybody things that make you go, I said if anything I said resonated with anybody, and if you are courageous, because it takes courage, my team and I created a landing page for my calendar. If you go to www.andregroupcoaching.com, it takes you to my calendar. If you're a man or a woman, you book yourself a VIP hour on my calendar, and we'll have a conversation one on one like this, you and I. But with and we'll basically in that call that we dig into where you're stuck, what's not working, what the loop is, boys most likely, right? What is the struggle? I could peel the onion back. We'll go right to childhood in 10 minutes. We'll figure out what happened to you. So you come out of it knowing there's nothing wrong with you. You're product of your past. So, understand this. It's liberating, by the way. Now, from here, what's the dream? What's the goal? What's the dream? Marriage, children, or hold on, really? My phone. Marriage or children, or long term, companionship, whatever. And then we'll talk about what that looks like for you. And I have different ways to work with me, small, medium, large, extra large. But that call alone is liberating. So
Yeah, awesome.
the rest of it is on my email list, projectequinox.net is my website. You could
Great.
spend the day there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Project Equinox on Instagram, TikTok under my name, under Paradis. So, there's a bunch of ways to come around. But the website is you could spend a good afternoon playing there. And if
Awesome.
you actually Google my name under podcast under Paradis, there's a whole avalanche of stuff that you could hear me talk about. Conversation, but yeah, I have to say this conversation with you was special. Like you,
Aw.
no, seriously, I do a lot of these, and because you understand what I'm talking about. Really, I think you're probably maybe one of the only ones that really understand what I'm talking about. The way I'm saying it, right? The in between, right? Um, that your question sort of took us to a different place. So I appreciate that very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. No, I mean, we speak the same language,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
think like we were talking about before, it's so awesome having it come from like, male, female perspective that, and this is it's like you said, it's not about changing who you are, dumbing down, being someone you're not. It's about energy and changing old habits to get a different result. And if
That's
that
it.
is what you're
That's it.
looking for, then,
That's
that's
it.
exactly
That's
what we're
it.
talking about.
And again, it's not knowing mostly in my world.
Yeah.
Just not knowing. Just and to me, not knowing is unacceptable.
Right.
Like
So
it's
just know. So get in touch with Andre, get in touch with me. We'd love to help you. Andre, thank you so much. So thanks for joining me today. This has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And make sure you go to my site, as always, kimmyseltzer.com, to see more ways I can help you have your own success story. And if you were motivated, just like Peter was when he first started, to learn how to date and find your sexy confidence, then I have something coming up for you that you will totally want to hop on board with. I've taken my most successful strategies from decades of coaching high achieving men and women and have broken them down into a quick, value packed 2 hour co ed workshop called Stop Hating Dating. Because so many of you are saying, I hate dating. I just want to skip it all and get to the boyfriend or girlfriend. And if that is you, I want to teach you how to date and have fun so that you get to have that partnership that you really want. This will be a mix of strategy, fun, and practice, because that's how I roll, with both men and women in the virtual room. This is for you if you're an action taker who is ready to fast track your dating life, flirting, and of course, more fun. But you might be at a complete loss when it comes to dating in 2022, especially if you're doing this later in life. So if you want to join us, hit the link you see in the show notes, grab your seat now as spaces will be limited. And I hope to see you there live and in action. And remember, working on you is working on your dating life. That's all for now.